Like in these negative times, this is where you have to find the positivity.
Can be the only person with this energy and
Okay, here from the positive guys, I just wanted to say today's special podcast is going to be about struggle with our special guest Alvin. So basically, would you like to introduce your Instagram?
yes, MTL Boy 1982.
And there's something special about this Alvin on the camera. He does something that not much people do. He spreads positivity and he does like a lot of that. And he's been doing it for how many years now? Because I know you, it's been a while, but not as long as you've been doing what you do.
Quite a few years. I'd say at least 10 years.
That's crazy. Okay, so on to our topic. It's gonna be about struggle, and a lot of people don't understand what struggling does and how it's good. It's actually good for you in a way, and it builds you mentally like stronger and stronger. Like, what's your input on that?
Well, struggle basically really defines you as a person. Each person has their own unique struggles of what they need to go through. I believe it comes from karma, whether it's good or bad in your previous life. That's just my personal belief. So what this means is that if you haven't yet achieved what you were supposed to in your previous life, it comes on to your current life. And as such, you must go through certain struggles in order to achieve whatever you didn't achieve in the previous life. And if you don't, the cycle will just continue over and over again. And sometimes you wonder, why is this happening to me again? I thought I already went through this. Well, it's because you still haven't achieved whatever you were supposed to do in this current cycle.
And do you believe it does build you mentally stronger, and you have to go through these things in order to experience like what life truly is?
Correct. Absolutely, because it makes you stronger as a man or as a woman, and it makes you just strengthens your belief system and just really reassures you of what you're sure your gut is. Because often we're questioning what is our gut versus what we think. Is it in my mind or is it real?
That's true. I agree. Because for myself, from struggling, and you're the person I go to. You're my go-to man when I'm like struggling and I'm going through a hard time, and you're always there. Whether you're at a restaurant, whether you're with friends, you'll take time and you'll literally put everything aside just to talk, to make sure that everything is well with me. And like, not many people do that. And like Fortunato said, him it's his girlfriend, you it's my best friend. So it's different for everyone. And like, through my times of struggling, this is crazy because I'm speaking to someone that knows like every single moment that like went bad. And it's like, so in times of struggle, what would you say? What's the best solution to do? Is it to talk or take time to yourself and try to analyze by yourself? Or is it always good to like push everyone and everything around you aside and speak to some? Or it really depends who you are?
Okay, so my answer to this question is when you're upset or you're angry or you're not feeling right, tell whoever is around you, whether it's your best friend 5,000 miles away or your girlfriend that's 3 blocks away or whatever the case is, that, hey, I just need to take some time, take 5 as I call it, or to myself to just process what's going on. That way you can reflect, assess, and then proceed to like really just go through the motions of what's bothering me, what is going on. Sometimes you may not come out with a solution or an answer. You'll be like, it's just a mood. Other times you'll be like, okay, it was all in my mind, or I overthink it. Like sometimes we overthink something, and therefore it's all something we create in our mind. Once you've taken the time to really process that and go through those motions, then you can go back and say, hey, can we talk, or do you have a few minutes? And then after you speak to the person, and I would always suggest to avoid text messaging for something that is not a yes or no answer. I am a strong believer that face-to-face matters, whether it's FaceTime or real life. I'm on FaceTime pretty much all the time because you live freaking 2,000 miles away.
Yeah, literally.
So it's never ever been an issue for me because, I mean, we take the time to order it to a schedule, and no matter what goes on in life and our schedules as busy as they are, we will still make the time, or we'll take a video, send it, and then you'll process it and then get back.
You don't
make
time
get
for
a quick
people
answer.
you care. Yeah.
Yes.
If you care about someone, you'll make time for them, and that's, I think, very important. And
Similarly, if you care, you won't give a quick yes or no answer when you didn't take the time to really take a step back and really assess and look and just like say that you told me, well, this is what was going through my mind. This is what I was feeling.
Yeah.
You need to, the person, me for example, I'll take the time to be like, okay, what made you get that way? Or what were the questions that came to mind? And then from that point, you have an open discussion. The important thing is you need to be able to speak to someone openly, where you're not scared that they'll have all these prejudgments. Because sometimes we're often scared to open up ourselves because we're scared the person's going to judge.
Do you think it's worth going, like, because some people are scared, but they'll let that not let, like, they won't communicate because they're scared to say what's actually going on, or they'll give like a feedback and they'll say like, yeah, my friend's going through this, but in all honesty, it's them that's actually going through whatever is going through.
I don't like blaming people, whether it's true or not, because often when you're blaming, how are you stopping the cycle? At some point, you gotta take ownership, take responsibility, and say, you know what, I was wrong, or maybe I misunderstood the situation. And I feel like that opens a maturity level and it strengthens your relationship. Just for example,
I believe, like, I blame myself. Yeah, I believe you have to. There's a word for it. I forgot, but you have to take accountability. I think taking accountability is the first step to being like mentally stable.
Correct.
And because things happen because of how you're reacting. That's number one.
Reaction is 9/10 of your solution.
Yeah, exactly. And I want to use, because I know you have a really good story, and you're not into depth with it, but would you be able to explain very, like, we can say briefly, what you, like, the struggles you've gone through, because it's like
absolutely,
it's built to you who you are today.
So I always say people see what they want to see. They don't know the truth. They don't know what someone's gone through because they don't take the time to at least take a step back and have these discussions. They don't understand because they don't ask questions. Probing is so important. So in my case, born and raised in Montreal, little background, whole life. So going through the struggles of what most of us, I hope, are going through to strive for success and better. Go to school full time, working 3 jobs, working 3 jobs, going to school, while trying to still take that time to go out and take that 1 day a week to go out and just filter your thoughts, whether it's a restaurant or whatever, or movies or whatever, and having, family go so far away, and then after being left alone for years to figure it out on my own. And I recently had this talk with you where responsibility in growing up isn't just paying bills while you live with your parents. It really comes on to you where it opens your eyes when you're left really to figure it out on your own when everybody is left and now you're by yourself. What are you going to do? Mom and dad aren't there. There is no family. The family you thought you had, or that is still within proximity, doesn't even reach out to you. So you know what? It's the honest truth. And sometimes people don't want to hear the truth, but the truth is your story. And it's what happened back then. And not everybody was not there, but in the end of the day, they have their life and you have your life. So I had to figure out, how was I going to cook? How was I going to manage? While I was working full-time, bought my first property at 25, and then going through
that's crazy. I just want to congratulate you on that, because that's a goal for many people. And many people don't understand how hard it is and how much work goes through it and how much saving. Because to save, you have to suffer. You have to say no to a lot of things. And I've done it. I could say I've intensively saved. And I know you know this. Last year is where I did the most saving. And I had to say no to a lot of things. Outings, like shoes. Like,
you have to say no sometimes.
And it's crazy.
You have to say no sometimes, because sometimes if you're not going to make those hard decisions for yourself, it will not assist you to get to your goals, closer to your goals, to try to further you there, to get you closer to that. If you start saying yes and say, okay, your friend calls you up, you go out, whatever the case is, I'm not saying not to go out, but I'm saying if you make it consistently and there's no balance, how will you allow yourself to get to your savings, to get to your goals? So property, you have to work, you have to save, you have to say no to going out, you have to say no to travels. I only started traveling in late 20s. I never had the college experience that most of these people around me right now have experienced.
And half the people think you're on vacation 24 hours. I shouldn't have brought that up, but I know that half the people for sure that know you from me think you're on vacation half the time. And I hope
I have come to make peace with this and say, that's right. my feet is magically up, and then somehow, some way, the palm tree represents that I'm on a beach every single day. If only that was the truth. The reality is, when you start structuring yourself at a young age to get to your goals, it doesn't stop there. It keeps going. And from that point, the miracle of miracles happened, that I finally got my wish one day through struggle and family in order to assist me in getting to my present. Getting to this present was up to a year ago. Prior to that, it was, where would I go next? Yeah. And I didn't have all the answers. There was no guidance. I had to figure it on my own. I didn't have someone to talk to necessarily to tell me, hey, these are the things you need to do. There was no handbook. So a lot of sacrifices went in to get to this point. And regular life consists of work, work, work all day long, and then basically putting my energy and strength into what things that matter to me, such as my health. So that involves working out, going for walks, interacting with people. And I always say, your story is a blueprint of your life. And you should try to continue the conversation with other people through social media networking, especially with the social distance right now. A lot of people say they don't like social media, but if you're not using it properly, then how can you help yourself? You're not a victim unless you make yourself a victim. And I could have easily said I was a victim all those years ago. And yes, I had moments where I had little breakdowns in Montreal, and you know, when is this going to happen? When am I going to move? What happens if I find, if I was to meet somebody today? How would this go? Like, would this stop my process to move? I didn't know how all this was going to go out, but I continued somehow. And I always had a vision from a young age, and I was quite mature at a young age from what a lot of people had met me, because I knew, saw a picture in my mind of where I wanted to go, and it was my motivation that kept me going.
And does mature mean, like, does it, to interrupt you here, it's like, people think that mature doesn't mean, it means you lose your fun side. People don't understand that, because a lot of people would refer to me as immature, and that's totally okay. Yes. That's how you know me. But like, it doesn't mean you lose your fun side, because I mean, like, maturity is like such a, like, it's a dull word, and people think that he's so immature every time I meet him. But every time you meet me, where are you, like, you're meeting me while we're going out, going to enjoy ourselves. That's when you see I'm immature. Like, and I think, like, for you too, it's like on vacation, like, it's almost like the same problem. It's like people think you're on vacation constantly because of a palm tree.
I wish.
It's kind of, well, I almost went Australian there, but it's kind of like delusional of people to think that.
I wish it was, but you know what? Nobody will ever know what goes on behind closed doors. Yeah. And no matter where you live, no matter where you go. And a lot of people, I tell them, it's not where you live necessarily, it's what you keep in your mind as your home. And if you don't process it here, you're done.
Yeah. And just to let the people know, I know it's none of their business, but how many hours in a week, we'll say, because 40 is the, like, minimum, right? That's what everyone does. But, like, there's always, like, there's some weeks where you will do 40, but you're doing 40, and then when you do log out of work, you do a bit more, but those, you don't need to count those. But, like, on average,
nobody knows.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, because I like what I do and I enjoy what I do, I will do extra things that I will not necessarily account for, because it's going to benefit me the next day. But prior to this current life, I mean, there were times I was working 60 hours a week, and I was not getting paid for over 40 hours. That was on me. It was understood that that was your responsibility. You know, I had a boss that used to swear in French in Montreal and would tell me off, and she'd say, you know what, I have been so bad to you, why do you put up with it? And I said, because I wasn't brought up a certain way, not to disrespect people, and that is which represents who you are, but does not represent who I am. So if you choose to be that way, that's you, but I will continue to strive and try and help myself.
I agree with that.
And that's why I will always believe, you know, let people believe what they want to believe. If they think you're on vacation because it's a palm tree, if they think things came easy, then that just shows the maturity on their side. Yeah. And at the end of the day, I mean, all you can do is account for yourself, and the right energy will always come to you.
Because only you know the truth. Only you know the truth.
Only you know the truth, or those that I let in.
Yeah, that's true.
Which are very limited.
And about that too, that's part of your struggles too. Don't you agree that you'll struggle even more if you let in the wrong people, because they'll distract you from where you're supposed to go? and where you want to be?
So, absolutely. So in Montreal, in my 20s, it was a lot of that while I was working full time, paying bills and all that stuff, like most people do. It was a really big struggle because the issue of friends was really difficult because our goals didn't align. Our hobbies, interests didn't align. Just because we had one thing in common didn't mean that we had all these other things in common. It didn't even have to do with what we had in common. It had to do with our mental capacity up here to actually have conversations. There's so much more to somebody than what you see on the outside. Did you ever take the time to get to know him or her regarding what makes them tick?
Yeah.
You know,
and a lot of people lose
story
themselves
is
within meeting people.
Right.
And
Right.
luckily
And
you
that's why I
keep me
also-
on the track. And you keep me,
Yes.
you make sure, and I do the same for you. And we always
Right.
like push each other to do more, and it's like remind each other, listen, you came here to do what? You didn't
Right.
buy a camera to make it sit there. You remind me like, look, you were doing this,
No.
all this last year, and then you let go of it. And now here I am again,
I did.
starting again. So, I mean, things happen for a reason, and you meet
I
people
always
for a
say that.
reason.
Always. And there's an expression, you meet people for a season, a lifetime, or whatever the case, but all this, if I was to simplify that, people come into your life for a purpose, and certain ones, they are to accomplish what you need to do during that period.
Yeah.
Once you've accomplished that, they go, you know, we each go our separate ways, not necessarily anything bad or any friction, just that you've now accomplished what you set out to do with both of you. And certain ones that stay, it's because they're one of your top 5, for example. And distance has nothing to do with it. Because if somebody really wants to make time, they will make the time.
And I
always say
and
that.
proof of what you just said. I have friends who live 3 to 4 blocks away, and it's not that we don't try not. We always plan to see each other, but it never happens. You know, it just doesn't happen, and we don't do it on purpose. It's just it's like almost like it's not that we don't care about each other, because when we do see each other and we're in like our surroundings, it's like we have the best time together. It's just that, like you said, it's like it's people stay and people, you talk to people, and
Yes.
it's like you make friends with people, but then friends I think are 2 to 3 people. Best
Yes,
friends,
you have
there's
acquaintances.
one. Yeah, and then there's
Yes.
it's like, and it's like also like I don't know how to say it. Yeah, I'm gonna give the mic to you. I think you should start talking because I lost myself.
It's perfectly fine. So, you know, you have acquaintances, and I say everybody should continue building acquaintances. Doesn't mean that you're gonna let go of your current friends. Not at all. What I'm saying is that in order to keep progressing up here, you need to meet people with different hobbies, different interests, because how are you supposed to open your eyes to like, hey, maybe I should try that hobby or that interest because I've never thought about it. Example, working out was something that I never really did. And it was always something that I always wanted to strive to do, and a lot of it has to do with my journey, my struggle, the pain, the story that I keep up here.
And time.
Each song that represents me, and time and karma go hand in hand, and it's really what pushes me every day to keep going and keep being the best version of myself. You know, who are you? Who do you want to be? Where do you want to go? How do you want to be remembered? These are questions that I think about. And maybe there's issues like at night where I lay there and I'm just thinking about all these things because I want to leave a legacy behind that someone could look back and say, hey, you know what? Crap happened, but he tried. He really tried to strive and do better for himself. And, you know, I always say a lot of people will not understand necessarily who you are. They'll see and they'll think they know you, but they really don't know you. Your Instagram followers, your likes, do not represent the reality of your life. So a lot of people who have 14,000 followers, all that, it's important to remember this is the image they're portraying. But do you really know these people? Do you actually follow them?
You don't know
around?
how much work
Do you
they're
actually
putting into
wake
it.
up with
Yeah.
them? Do you have any idea what goes on behind the scenes? You know, people don't take the time to really have these conversations.
And not only them, like
And
you too. You
I
don't have a
always-
lot of followers, but let me tell you,
Yes.
you put so much work into one
Yes.
photo, 2 photos, 3 photos.
Yes.
One photo
Yes.
took you 30, 40 minutes to get ready.
Yes.
Till you woke up at 7,
The quote,
6 a.m.
The angle, the lighting, correct. Yes. And I do things for like that because I really do believe there is good out there. And I don't believe I can be the only person with this energy, and I almost fall.
Are you okay?
Energy, and I'm fine, thanks. With this energy and all this drive, because it's a world full of how many people? So, I mean, there's got to be people out there that can connect this energy, and I could care less what color skin you are, what race you are, what religion you are. None of this stuff matters to me. What matters to me is, do you have a heart, and what actions have you shown to help yourself get there? Have you just started talking about it and it's been a year, 2 years, 3 years? At that point, what value are you showing me? And this is my opinion, and everybody's allowed to have their own opinion, but it's just been my experience. And recently, I have to share that it's been great reconnecting with one friend in particular in Montreal, and it's been so long that I haven't spoken to this individual, and it's just nice seeing that 10 years have passed, but our energy still progress. And he recently told me that he let people bring him down because of his energy. He was dancing, he was putting on positive videos, and I used to be that person to like let people bring me down. And I asked myself, these people that are bringing you down or telling you all these negative things, tell me, how are they happy in their lives? And why do we care so much? Why do we want that acceptance? So it's something in time that I have learned to say, you know what? Thank you for your opinion. I appreciate the time that you took to write this, and that's what you believe.
Yeah.
Thank you. No problem. Don't add more. The more you add to someone's fire, the more you're giving them ammunition. Let it go. Let them do their thing. Because for that one person, there was at least 50 other people that were applauding and saying, you know what, in all this negativity going on right now, it's been refreshing to see a positive post, someone trying to do a difference, someone just trying to make me laugh.
And that's
So
what
you might
matters
wonder,
the most.
like,
I think
why
it's
am I-
crazy. Like in these
Yes.
negative times,
Yes,
this
your
is where
humor.
you have to find the
Yes.
positivity, and you can't let anything like,
Yes.
get in your way, really. Because like,
No.
look, it was raining
No
today,
bueno.
and I went for a run. I came back wet,
Right.
but
Right.
fortunate for me, I have
know.
a shower. Not everyone's
I know.
fortunate, but I have a shower. So why am I gonna complain to go? Why am I not gonna go?
Right.
You know, there's no excuses.
Hashtag I survived Ice Storm 98, Montreal's Ice Storm 98, where we were out with power for 3 weeks. Not everybody, but I was. But we had a fireplace, we had no internet, no TV, but guess what? We were fine. Everyone started speaking to each other. It was absolutely wonderful. And a lot of people, they see the fun side. For me, for example, because they'll see me on the weekends, they'll be like, oh, he loves going out, that's all, you know, because I'm working all week, so I look forward to that. But how am I dealing with this? I have internet. I'm doing this right now. I'm video chatting with people. I'm trying to get to know, what are your hobbies, what are your interests. I'm able to sit outside. You control you. No one said you can't go outside your front door to stand there. I understand you can't go to certain places because it'll open up to this whole pandemic thing. But you truly have control over yourself. And whether we had corona or we didn't have corona, it's still something that people have always struggled with because they feel they don't have the power within them. If I could rewind 20 years ago, I wish I had met Alvin, someone like me, to actually help me, to try to push me, to try to talk to me. I didn't have anyone showing me the ropes. I had no one pushing me to try to keep going. And I had this all within. And the people I met, it was all this, you're too much, you're this, you're that. But I never let that bother me because when I closed the door and they went back to their homes, I was by myself and I was left to focus on my thoughts. I never let anybody keep me down because it's not worth it. Because at the end of the day, you're going to realize as you grow, you're paying your own bills and nobody else is paying your bills but you. But your brand is your brand. Just remember
and
that.
no one can physically get into your brain. You are you. You do you.
No.
Whether it's weird,
No.
whether someone else finds it weird, whether someone else finds it stupid, it's you.
Yes. I will end with saying you are the master of your own destiny. As someone tells me often, I value this input big time. And I can control what I say, but my eyes will always tell you, and I feel like body language across from you will always dictate or show just how is someone feeling. At the end of the day, we are human beings, and people need to understand we have hearts and we have feelings. And I think that this is a conversation that needs to be continued, and the right people will keep walking this way, and the wrong ones always go away. That's why it's so important that I sat here in this hot weather, because I wanted to bring this to you and say, don't give up. Because I never knew this was going to happen. I had no way of knowing. Imagine your entire family leaves you. You're by yourself for 7 years. You're figuring it out. If you meet somebody, what's going to happen? Will you stay there? Will you go? You don't know what's going to happen, and you're by yourself. You have a friend. You have some friends, family. Yes, that's nice, but they
friends
have
don't pay your bills,
and you're like left in limbo. They don't pay your. Good point. They don't pay your bills. I valued the time I had. I appreciated it. I thank everyone for the part they played in my journey, and I still keep in touch. And that's something. No matter where I have gone in life, I have continued to keep in touch with everyone I said I would keep in touch with, as busy as I've been. Because if you really want to make the time, you will.
And that's what makes you really unique.
And this has always been
that's
something.
what really makes you unique.
Yes.
And so, to wrap it up, what would you like to say? Anything? Any last words? Because I'm sure we'll have you back on soon enough, because it was very good, and I think Fortunato would love to hear some more of this live to you and speak to you.
Oh, I would love to meet him. I would love to meet him. I will say that, guys, don't give up on your dream, whatever it is. Everybody has a unique roadmap of their life. It's up to you to continue your journey and figuring it out. And negativity can only bring you down, so keep people that are positive, inspiring in your life. And follow me, MTLBoy1982 on Instagram, because I truly believe we could do a lot of good. This positive movement needs to continue, as I've been saying, even before I met the positive guys. This is something that I've always been saying. We just happened to meet. But was that destiny, or was that meant to be? Think about that.
And that's crazy. I want to thank Alvin for like sharing all this, because it was all personal stuff, and not many people like to share this stuff. And it was really like, this is why we're here. And I just hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you, Alvin, for coming on. And he also had to put up with all the work of setting up his own camera because of COVID-19. We were supposed to do this all in person, but due to everything, there's no excuses. We made it happen. He's as crisp and he's clear and he's in palm trees, and this is exactly what we wanted.
And I will add, what you see right now is 2% of my actual life. Because most of the time I'm locked inside working.
Probably 9 or 10 hours of your day working?
Yeah.
Okay. So thank you for coming on, Alvin.
Have a good one, guys.
We're signing out. Thank you for listening to the positive, guys.